Okay, so for 1 point perspective, you start out with your ruler and you have to create a horizon line. So Cal, this is something that you're going to want to pay attention to. Using your ruler as a straight edge, making sure that you're holding the ruler as far apart as you can. This keeps it steady. Pencil up against the edge of the ruler, and it's a straight line across. Pretty easy peasy lemon squeezy. The next step is finding your vanishing point. You just have to, for us, because we're drawing this, it's coming from our own imagination, we just have to decide where we want the vanishing point. We're not actually looking at something and trying to figure it out. So I'm going to make my vanishing point right in the middle. It's pretty easy. It's a good place if you're starting out. And then the next step is going to be creating those receding lines, which is going to, for this purpose of a cityscape, is going to be the road. So I'm taking my ruler and I am lining it up with my vanishing point. And I'm making it go at a diagonal. Why would I have it go back as a diagonal? Like, why not a straight line? Okay.
Because it looks like it's going to, you can't see it, your eye looks like it's going back.
It's receding, so it looks like it's going backwards. So I'm going to make that on one side. I'm going to go over, make another diagonal line going to that vanishing point. And now I have created the beginning of my cityscape. At this point, you can decide, or you can start thinking about like how you want your buildings to look. If you want big, tall buildings, or maybe you only want buildings on one side of your road. Turn that down real quick. A good tool to help you with this is a T-square. A T-square is basically a giant triangle. It's called a T-square, which I know that sounds weird to call a triangle a square, because right here is a 90-degree angle. And what shape has 90-degree angles? Squares. So to start this out, if I'm going to make a rectangular building right here, I'm going to line up the bottom of my T-square with the bottom of my paper, holding it down with the pencil up against the edge of the square. I'm going to make a vertical line going above my horizon line. So the horizon line is that vertical, or that horizontal line. Miss John's had too many cookies at lunch. Then you need to decide how wide you want your building, like how far back it goes. You keep your T-square right up against that vertical line, and then you slide it over so that it stays parallel. And then you can create the side of your building. To make sure that the top is lined up straight, using the 90-degree angle, the square of that T-square, I line it up with the vertical edge and I make sure it goes this way. I've got a little extra piece right there, but that's okay. I can take my eraser and erase that little extra. Then I can also erase the horizon line, because I'm not going to see the horizon line inside that. Am I? No, because the building's blocking it. Yes?
We don't have an eraser.
Now, this is still not a three-dimensional building. This does not have that perspective to it. I need to make a receding line going from the top corner of my building down to my vanishing point. I'm going to draw that lightly because I'm probably not going to keep all of that line there. Using my T-square again, I'm going to make the front of my building, or the facade. That's a fancy French word. The facade. I'm going to move my T-square to the left, keeping it parallel with that vertical line from my building. And then once I decide that I like how wide I have it, I'm going to start at the receding line and go down to the next receding line. And there I have the front face of my building. Does anybody have any questions? Everybody pretty good? All right. Yes.
I'm trying to do like a bunch of little buildings side by side.
Okay, I'll show you how to do that. So if you wanted to show buildings side by side, like a little, like maybe a little alleyway in between. Like, you know, big cities have alleys. You're gonna line up your T-square with the edge of your building, and then you're just gonna slide it a little bit, create the next vertical line, and then there is your gap. So right there, you get, like, it looks like a skinny rectangle. Well, if you need to like shade it to help you remember that that's just a gap, you can do that. And then you continue making the shape just like you did before, where you have it lined up here, slide it left, vertical line between the receding lines, and the only difference will be that you'll have a line that goes, oh, hold on. Obviously, I'm going to edit this part of the video. Oh, no, we're good. We're good. But you'll keep going, and the gap will get smaller and smaller, because if it's from far away, we wouldn't actually see the gap. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about building shapes? Kalisa.
How do you make the shadow? Like, do you make it onto the building, like more up or down?
I probably can talk with you one-on-one on that.
How can you make a mountain in the distance?
Ooh, very good question. So if you're wanting to make some more scenery to your background, say you want to show the mountains in the distance.
Mount Fuji.
Mount Fuji, ooh. Then you're just gonna keep everything above that horizon line and draw it like if this was a mountain range. You know, you can add the sunset where like maybe the sun's here. Like obviously you wouldn't have the sun below the mountains, but that's one method you can do with this. Yes.
I'm not sure that my row of buildings look right.
I'll come and work with you, okay? Anybody else have questions? Okay, I'm going to turn demonstration off so I can move around